Some people bring towels and sunscreen to their warm and comfortable beaches. I brought 650 horsepower to an icy cold one. And yes, this has a lot to do with one of the rarest Lamborghinis ever. And no, it's not this one. To understand why Lamborghini encourages this level of mashup and almost discomfort, we need to talk about what Lamborghini is. And specifically about the car that is the ancestor to every current Lamborghini, the Reventón. Now here's the thing about this car. The Reventón isn't just rare. It is the car that completely rewired Lamborghini. Every modern Lamborghini, from the Aventador to the Revuelto, and even this Urus, carries something from it. It wasn't built to set lap records, nor to conquer new markets. It was built to send a message, and Lamborghini wrapped that message in matte grey carbon fiber. So today we are digging into how a 20-car limited run reshaped Lamborghini design, why it still matters for collectors, and why it still feels like driving a stealth aircraft on public roads. And this one could even be for sale. This video is brought to you by Selected Car Investment, where we buy and sell only the best collectible cars. Check our website to see if your next car happens to be in stock, or contact us for off-market cars, or if you want help to find your next investment. To appreciate the Reventón, we have to rewind to the mid-2000s, where Lamborghini had finally found stability. The proud Italian company had been acquired by Audi, which had given them structure, money, and engineering discipline. The Gallardo was selling, the Murciélago was respected. But the thing is, stability isn't exactly what the bull in the logo stands for. Lamborghini rose to fame with the Miura that is often hailed as the first supercar in the world. And we might get back to the Miura in another video if you want. The Miura was an absolute sensation, and surely it is still one of the most beautiful cars in the world. However, it was the Countach that just 5 years after the Miura really set Lamborghini onto their path, as the Countach really rewrote the book for how spectacular a sports car could be styled. And Lamborghini never looked back. Yes, even the Murciélago followed in the footsteps of the Countach and did look pretty wild too. But it didn't exactly feel like a new era. And that put Lamborghini in a difficult position. Ferrari had elegance, Porsche had precision. Lamborghini were at the brink of looking like the eccentric cousin who'd recently settled down just a bit too much. So the question internally became, what if we built a car simply to remind the world who we are? What would that car look like? That question went straight to Centro Stile Lamborghini, formed just a few years earlier, and they rose to the occasion. The Lamborghini head of design, Luc Donkervolker, once said that Lamborghini should look fast even when they're asleep. So why not give the young team a brief to do a rethink of just that? And that is what they did. A blank sheet means there is no silhouette to evolve, no heritage lines to protect, and that means almost no rules, which gives a designer freedom. And that brief truly unlocked something new. At Frankfurt in 2007, the Reventón arrived. Low, sharp, and finished in a grey that looked like it had been hand-delivered by Lockheed Martin. It wasn't meant to be polite. That is not what you get when the inspiration comes from a fighter jet. Instead, it was meant to make a statement of a new design. Brilliantly, Lamborghini chose to build not just one prototype, but also 20 customer cars. And just like that, all customer cars sold instantly. That new design was an immediate success. Mechanically, the Reventón is based on the Murciélago LP640, so it's the same V12 engine, naturally aspirated 6.5 liter, 640 horsepower and 660 Newton meters of torque, all-wheel drive, and then there's that paddle-shifted e-gear transmission. And here's a question for you. If you end up buying this car, would you consider swapping it for a 6-speed gated manual? However, all is familiar Lamborghini territory, but wrapped in an entirely different philosophy. Because that means that the real innovation isn't the drivetrain. The design itself is the technology. Lamborghini didn't just borrow aesthetic cues from aircraft, they borrowed the mindset. Surfaced angles not for beauty, but for airflow. Edges acting like aerodynamic blades. A body that moves air around itself like a piece of machinery designed to cut through the sky. The car's very special color of Grigio Reventón wasn't chosen because of fashion, but because it underlined the car's looks and inspiration taken from stealth aircrafts. Not glossy, not even shiny, not spectacular, just predatory. And while it wasn't the first matte car ever, it was one of the first factory supercars to use matte paint as an intentional design element. Something that later became a trend across the industry. But the Reventón didn't just influence future Lamborghinis, it defined them. 3 details in particular became part of the DNA of Lamborghini. The polygonal body surfaces, these crisp folds, this geometric tension everywhere, directly inherited by the Aventador, Revuelto, Huracan, everywhere. The Y-shaped light signature. It starts here and you'll find it on every Lamborghini since. The digital jet-style cockpit. The Reventón featured the first fully digital Lamborghini dashboard, and also this became an inspiration for a decade of Lamborghini interior design. And when it comes to aerodynamics, the pointy front end splits air more efficiently, while the brutal rear end created real downforce, altogether meaning less drag. Journalists were gloriously divided. Half said Lamborghini had created a design masterpiece. The other half thought the Reventón looked like a Murciélago had been attacked by an absolutely mad geometry teacher armored with a set of rulers. But everyone agreed it put Lamborghini back where they belonged, on the edge. So, what is it actually like to drive a Reventón? Well, fun fact, it could absolutely be out here on the beach with me right now. It is 4-wheel drive, great chassis, stable, predictable, and surprisingly sure-footed on slippery surfaces. But our Reventón belongs in our investment fund, where we acquired it for all of the reasons mentioned. Rarity, historical importance for Lamborghini, its sheer qualities as a supercar. It is also a one-owner car with less than 3,000 kilometers and is in pristine condition. And we think it has a very bright future as a collectible car, not to mention that it could now be for sale. So we are not going to exfoliate it with salt water and beach sand today. And in fact, that is just why the Urus became such a phenomenon. It gives you the Lamborghini character, but without the preservation anxiety. Had I taken the Reventón here to the island of Rømø, where the Danes celebrate the Rømø Motor Festival in the summer, I surely would have enjoyed its huge performance. The stated 0 to 60 time of 3.6 seconds were of course measured on asphalt. I'm not sure what it would have been on sand like this. But I am sure even this beach isn't long enough for the quoted top speed of 340 kilometers per hour. But on the other hand, the engine note would have been audible all the way over to England. The ride of the Reventón is of course firmer than the Urus. It has opinions, but the seats themselves are surprisingly friendly and the cabin does feel like a very special place to be. And yes, while the Urus is the real family car of the Lamborghini range, even the Reventón does come with a bit of practicality. Basic creature comfort, a little luggage space, and then there is this. The Reventón comes with a universal tool, the military knife. Ideal for cheese, rope, improvised diplomacy, and usable whether your beach is sunny or icy. On a former occasion, I have had the chance to drive the Reventón, or actually, should I say, operate it. Every maneuver feels significant, not only because of the performance, but because of what the Reventón is. If the Murciélago is a bull roaring in the arena, the Reventón is a bull in full tactical gear, walking straight toward you. It is not the most polished Lamborghini ever made, and paradoxically, thereby Lamborghini achieved their goals. In terms of presence, drama, and sheer character, nothing else delivers quite like the Reventón, and that is exactly how a Lamborghini should be. The comparison segment is going to spark debate, and that's fine. The comment space below is all yours. But let's start with the obvious competitor, Ferrari Enzo. Ferrari Enzo. This supercar was only rear-wheel drive and has razor-sharp handling, helped by being lighter and more focused. But in my opinion, the Reventón still beats it at presence, rarity, and the fact that it defined Lamborghini's future, where the Enzo was more left on its own. How about the Bugatti Veyron? Well, it offers that mentioned engineering precision, huge top speed, and real comfort, and it's certainly not an ugly car. But still, the Reventón has more drama, more immediate emotional impact, and not least is much rarer again. The Porsche Carrera GT then. Certainly one of the great sports cars, aimed squarely at the driver, offering involvement, manual purity and balance. But it does not hold a candle to the visual attack of the Reventón. So far so good. But there are other Italian masterpieces, designed almost free of restrictions, but instead with huge imagination, like the Pagani Zonda. Controversial it might be, but think about it. These two supercars do share the same original philosophy, offering complete creative freedom. A blank sheet, no rules, and yes, the Zonda is extraordinary. It is a sculpture, a sonic experience, a piece of mechanical art. But Pagani moved on stylistically with the Veyron. And in hindsight, we can see that even the Zonda shape didn't define the future of the brand. The Reventón did. Its lines, its angles, its lighting, its cockpit. That design language became the backbone of Lamborghini for 15 years and still is today. And dare I say it, the reason is that it is the better design. So while the Zonda is breathtaking, the Reventón is the car that shaped a company. One is an icon, the other is a blueprint. So the Reventón isn't just any limited run Lamborghini. It is the exact moment in time where the marque remembered that subtlety was someone else's job. That lends it huge historical importance as a bearer of a design philosophy that changed the company's course. And yes, it is a great driver's car as well, with that hugely emotional V12, great chassis and cosseting interior. So of course, it is also a collectible, and in fact, right up there amongst the most important ones in the history of Lamborghini. And hey, did I mention that this one will be up for sale? In fact, without the Reventón redefining the design and look and feel of a Lamborghini, there might not even have been an Urus. Or perhaps you could even say that the fighter jet-inspired Reventón saved Lamborghini from becoming just another subsidiary of Volkswagen and won Lamborghini their freedom to keep doing what Lamborghini have always done best: to be the maverick amongst the supercar manufacturers.